everybody. Look at this. It's Monday. I'm on time. 4 o'clock too. I'm so happy. Hey, Jack Faria, thanks for joining. Anyone who joins during a live stream will get a shout out during the telecast. And I appreciate all of you who are able to be members. That's wonderful. Also, as far as Movie Math goes, that is coming today. I apologize that it didn't go up yesterday, but I had CCXP, and I thought that they were going to have some freaking news, and they didn't have news, which was, hey, Jack, thanks for joining. Jack Saphir. I like your hair. But that was just a super annoying situation. Super annoying situation. It hurt my Friday because there were afternoon panels on Friday, so I couldn't do anything in the second half of the day. And then on Sunday, it was supposed to be, a big 6-hour presentation from Warner Brothers. And in the past, a lot of studios have done a great job having stuff. That's right, it is 2 Jacks, not your Nico. But I was just like, it was horrific. I think it put everybody in a bad mood. Everyone was super mean, especially on Twitter yesterday. It was just really bad. It was one of the worst things. It was one of the worst live fan experiences I've ever experienced. The only fun thing was talking to some of you over in the Facebook live stream. I was sitting there watching along quietly, and I saw someone in the comments say, oh, I wonder what Grace Randolph would say about this panel today. And I was like, hey, I'm sweet, and you guys were talking to me and asking me questions, to entertain ourselves while we waited. And it was just really, really sweet of you. That's right. I agree, Cole. It was the Fry Festival of conventions. Someone made a good point and said, how about the people who paid for CCXP? Because they charged if you wanted to watch the panels not live. I thought that was just horrible. I can't believe they took people's money for that. It's amazing to me that anybody would put together a presentation for an event like that and not sit there and go, hey, what's the takeaway from said presentation? And then if they realized there was no takeaway, they should have been like, maybe we should put a takeaway in here, or if we're not ready to do one, maybe we shouldn't present. I think it's weird that Warner Media would book 6 hours, promote the 6 hours. 6 hours is like a boss thing to do. It'd be like, we're taking Sunday. You're like, oh, wow, you must have something really cool to present. And then to present nothing, like literally nothing, I thought was just really, really incredible. Although that's not true. There was a trailer for Twist, the new take on Oliver Twist, which stars Jude Law's son, who's all grown up, and it looked pretty freaking awful. But he looked a lot like Jude Law, boy, to the point where I felt Jude Law maybe cloned himself. That was pretty funny. But Movie Math is coming. Movie Math will come. It's been already filmed because I have to film stuff before the sun sets behind me. I got to make a lot of my programming decisions around the sunset. So anyway, Movie Math will go up after this stream. It's a long Movie Math that talks about all the fallout from the HBO Max announcement on Thursday. It's like at least 15 minutes. It's a little bit more than that. And that's a big chunk of editing because I talked a lot in it. I got very chatty because there was so much interesting stuff to discuss. But speaking of interesting stuff to discuss, today, thank you everybody for joining, we're going to talk about, somebody actually put I think it was a comment on my prom video and said, you should do a preview of Disney Investor Day. And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. But I didn't want to make like a standalone video because, I don't want to just repeat what I'm basically going to be covering on Thursday. So I thought, you know what? It'll be fun to do it as a live stream. So we'll talk about what's going to happen with the Disney Investor Day. And then at the end of the stream, we'll do instead of a 10-minute Ask Me Anything, we'll do a 15-minute Ask Me Anything. All right? So I think we'll have a great time. So yes. All right. So let's get started. So Disney Investor Day. Woo! It's this Thursday, December 10th, and I'm so impressed with how many people know about it. It used to be that this was only for industry people and people who are invested in the company. Hey, Con, thanks for joining. But now fans know about Investor Day, which I think is pretty freaking cool. So it's this Thursday, December 10th, and they had said before that they're going to focus on streaming. They made that announcement. They were really clear about it, but it's become even more important, and the stakes have been raised after the Warner Brothers HBO Max announcement on Thursday. So if you would like to watch this, Anyone can watch it. It's not a private event. All Disney investor calls and investor days are real live things that anyone can stream. Now, I'll post, I tweeted the link before. I'll tweet it when it's going to actually happen on Thursday. Logan, I believe Investor Day is held physically in Los Angeles because all of the executives need to be there. I don't know where in Los Angeles it's held. It's probably held on the Disney lot. Hey, Decker Dutch O'Farrell, that's a great name. And look at your avatar. Oh, that's fun. You look like a fun guy. And you have glasses too. All right, so anyway, it's probably going to be on the Disney lot, most likely, because they can control it. Usually, press will be in attendance. When they did the Disney Plus presentation, they had local press sitting there in attendance. It was very cool. But I think it obviously will be a closed set this time because anyone can just stream in. You can stream. You can join in the stream. Hey, Eric Samuel Perry. Lloyd says, is this video or audio? It's 4 hours. I think it's going to be video because a 4-hour phone call, I mean, we'll do it, but it would be maddening. And also, they're not going to get the same bang for their buck. I think it's going to be like the Disney Plus and HBO Max presentations. Remember those? Anyone could watch? Those were great. And they were business presentations, but with panache. So it'll be this Thursday at 4. I said hi to Eric, right? Hey, Eric Samuel Perry. So it'll be this Thursday, December 10th, at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is not on YouTube. It is not on Facebook. It is on the Disney Investor website. All right? I'll put the link here right now because you guys are freaking out about it a little bit, which I understand. It's on the Walt Disney Company website. So here it is. And then you can just... Oh, Scott pointed out that a lot of it is pre-recorded. So that's interesting. And then Evan Moore says 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is a horrible time. I'll say it is. It's 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. It's 4 hours, and it overlaps with the freaking Game Awards, which is like, what? No, Max, this is on Thursday. So this Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the Disney Company presentation. But then at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, an hour and a half before the presentation at Disney ends, the Game Awards are going to start. So it's like, what, are you kidding me? And by the way, the Game Awards are also, it's, if you're on, it's 1:30 Pacific for Dancing Dog 60 pointed out, but the Game Awards will also start earlier. And Tom Holland's presenting at the Game Awards, so something cool is at least coming there with him. So it's like, I don't know, George, if they'll drop the Sony news for Spider-Man 3 at the Game Awards. They could, or it could be Uncharted. It'll be interesting to see. But it's just nuts. It's absolutely nuts those two events would overlap. They have the whole freaking week. I mean, usually they wouldn't. Well, actually, I know you guys don't like the 4:30 time, but that's always when the investor call is. So that's why Disney did that. That's when their investor call usually is, and so that's when they're doing their Investor Day presentation. So 4:30 is probably pretty normal for this stuff. So I think the HBO Max presentation was around the same time as well. But it really sucks. If it's buffering, you guys, you should just refresh. I don't, because I'm not having any problem here. Is everything okay? Are you guys all caught up? Great. Okay, good. Brandon says you're going to cover. Oh, I'm definitely going to cover. Okay? I'm not going to be able to cover while it's going, though, because I have to make sure I see what's happening. So I'll be live tweeting the event, and then I will cover it afterwards. As for the Game Awards, I can only really cover trailers and announcements out of that. I don't need to see them live so much, so I will cover that as it drops. And then The Mandalorian drops the next morning. It's like a ridiculous cluster beep of scheduling. All right, so anyway, let's talk about what to expect. It's going to be very exciting. This is going to be a pretty big deal. They'll probably do it by category, which is what they did during the Disney Plus presentation, where the heads of each division come up and talk about what new things they have planned for the streaming services. Pretty exciting. And also now they have to do an HBO Max clap back. Not where Chapek wanted to be. Chapek wanted to be a trailblazer, not choking in HBO Max's dust. So he's got to try and get back out front. They're going to try and claw their way back up to the front. It's going to be difficult. So let's talk about what we think, what's going to happen based on different categories, all right? So let me see. Am I right on? Hey, Vincent 2.0, the improved Vincent. Let's see here. All right. So how to watch, presentation, HBO Max clapback. All right. So next, one of the things. Oh yeah, there's no boobs today, Chris. But we'll bring the boobs back tomorrow. All right. So anyway, Deadline broke the news recently that they are going to announce. Brandon says, will there be a WandaVision trailer? My guess is the WandaVision trailer will drop earlier in the day. They've been promoting the posters at 1 p.m. All the posters debut for WandaVision at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So my guess is that's when the trailer will hit. That's a bit late for a trailer. I wish they would drop it at 9 a.m., quite frankly, which 9 to 10 a.m. is trailer thinking. But I think they're going to drop the WandaVision trailer earlier in the day to get everybody excited about the Disney presentation later on. You know, to be like, oh, WandaVision, Disney Plus, so exciting. Oh yeah, they have a presentation today. I better tune in. That's what I think is going to happen. That's what I think they're probably going to do. So Jordan says, I figured the WandaVision trailer would be Friday. No, the posters will run till Thursday because, you know, it's for each decade. I mean, maybe they could do Friday, but I mean, why Friday, not Disney Investor Day? You would think they'd want to get everybody excited for Disney Investor Day. It's not like Mando. If Mando were having its season finale on Friday, I'd say maybe you were right. But I don't think that's true. I think there'll be a new WandaVision trailer on Thursday. I mean, it could always be Wednesday, but I think it's going to be Thursday morning, quite frankly. All right, so anyway, Deadline reported that Cruella and Disney live-action movies Pinocchio and Peter Pan, according to their sources, will go directly to Disney+. They did not indicate if they would be Premier Access or if they would be at no extra cost. So that's what we're waiting to hear. But then, again, later, also today, Deadline said that they were hearing that there would be TV and theatrical announcements, that this would not just be a streaming thing, but that it would be basically another big Disney presentation about what's next for the studio. And it would include Marvel, Lucasfilm, and Pixar announcements. But of course, everybody just wants to know what Black Widow is going to do, especially because Disney's going to need to do there might be a Cruella trailer. That film is done. Cruella is done. And as Brett said, Jungle Cruise, that's a film that I feel should really go to streaming because it's done. These movies are ready to go. They're just sitting there. Pinocchio and Peter Pan and Wendy haven't even gone into pre-production yet. They might be in pre-production, but they haven't even filmed. Hey, Kay Brinkman, thanks for joining. Look at you, branding, Kay, branding. I'm impressed. I think there is a chance. I haven't heard anything about Black Widow, whether or not it's going to go. But I think there's a chance because Disney needs a movie on the level of Wonder Woman 1984, Suicide Squad, The Matrix, Dune, Godzilla vs. Kong. What are they going to do? They're going to look like some ridiculous babies if they're just like, oh, we have Cruella. Everyone's going to be like, Disney, as I've discussed with you before, really is sensitive to the fact that people feel that Disney's for kids. That's the whole reason that Bob Iger went on his purchase spree. Well, not why he bought Pixar, but it's why he went on to buy Marvel and Lucasfilm, because he was like, Disney needs to be for everybody. He got really scared when Warner Brothers gave Universal the theme park rights to Harry Potter, and they started to actually be a competitor in the theme park business. Bob Iger was like, holy crap, we don't have theme park supremacy anymore. So that's why Galaxy's Edge exists. I mean, think about it. Galaxy's Edge is a world unlike anything else they've ever done at Disney. Galaxy's Edge feels like the Harry Potter wizarding world where they create this thing. There's a lot of envy going on in Hollywood. Dancing Dog 60 just brought up Netflix. Everybody wants to be like the people who, people who take the risks go out front. But, it's a sad reality of the fact that sometimes people take a risk, they're trailblazers, but then a bigger company says, good idea, comes in, does it instead, and is hugely successful. For instance, every time I see Carpool Karaoke, I get very upset that James Corden basically ripped off a YouTube series that Flula Borg was a part of, by the way. Well, at least Flula Borg is in the Suicide Squad. But James Corden makes so much money off of that. He made it a spin-off show, and he didn't even come up with that idea. So it's pretty crazy. Brandon says, what about The Little Mermaid? They could do a first look at The Little Mermaid, but that's not going to start filming until January. Although if they're about to start filming, they must have done costume tests. So that could happen. I haven't heard anything about that. But, I think that Disney is going to put its best foot forward here because they really need to take command again. Right now, Warner Media is in the driver's seat in terms of who's doing cool stuff in Hollywood, and I'm sure that's really annoying Disney. Bob Chapek's like, oh my God, I can't ruin Disney right away. Hey, Cabello. Is that the beach in your avatar? That's very nice. So yeah, as Patrick O'Donnell just said, Disney needs to impress. All right, also expect them to finally make these Star Wars shows official. Not the many ones that they still have yet to film. I'm talking about the Mando spin-offs. I've been telling you about this. Everyone's been telling you about this. We're talking about a Boba Fett show, which is supposed to be taking the season 3 of The Mandalorian production spot. So Boba Fett. Although after last week's episode, who doesn't want to see that show? Although I do technically feel it's a bit of dilution for The Mandalorian, as they're both Mandalorians, but whatever. They also want to do a Bo-Katan show, apparently. I say apparently because even though I've heard that, I think it's such a dumb idea. It's really annoying to me. The only show that I would spin off of Mando would be Ahsoka. That's the only show I would spin off because it has such a different feel. It's going to be a Jedi feel, and to me it would be the live action Dave Filoni show, right? I'd be like, okay, Mando will continue as like Jon Favreau's show, and then Ahsoka will spin off as like the Filoni show. So it'll be Jon Favreau with The Mandalorian and Dave Filoni with Ahsoka. So that's kind of how I feel about it. I think having like so many shows, like when will Mando come back? I also feel Star Wars doesn't have the diversity of feelings. Like, for instance, Marvel as Marvel Cosmic. They have Captain America, feels very different than Iron Man, which feels very different than Thor. But I'm curious, what do you guys think? Do you think that Star Wars, yes, it's wonderful, Lito, that so many people are joining us today. But what do you guys think? Do you think that Star Wars has the diversity of atmosphere to warrant all of these series? A Mandalorian show, an Obi-Wan show, a K2SO show, right? A Boba Fett show, a Bo-Katan show. It's just so many shows. So you guys have to wait for you to catch up to me. So far I've got, it's all the same vibe. It's a no. I agree, Alex, that Boba Fett should stay on the Mandalorian show with Mando. Mika says Star Trek at least gives us a new cast. Well, Star Trek's an interesting comparison, actually. I like that. Although Lisa's like, yes, give this all to me. That's hilarious. Yeah, I feel like, Star Trek kind of works, but I think Star Trek is a smaller audience on the shows. Dancing Dog 60 says, I think it can. I mean, let's see. I mean, I welcome the stuff to cover. I mean, as someone who covers this stuff, I'm like, yes, give me a show every Friday, Disney Plus, forever. Although, I really hate the time that they debut. It really makes it difficult for me to cover. But anyway, I'm a little still annoyed about that. All right, so anyway, expect some of those Star Wars shows to be officially announced. I don't know if it's going to be all of them, but they're certainly going to announce some of them. I would suspect that it would be the Boba Fett and Ahsoka shows for sure, because those characters got the best reaction from viewers. Ahsoka for sure, and then Boba Fett because it's supposed to start filming any day now, if not already. As for Bo-Katan, I feel bad for Katie Sackhoff, who's just so happy to be doing this, but I don't know if I would greenlight that just yet, quite frankly. What show do you really want them to greenlight? They still have to do Cassian Andor and K2SO and then the Obi-Wan show. They have other shows coming. Megan says, give me new content, Disney Plus. But it's so cheap. Disney Plus, although, as you'll see, we're going to talk about that. Mika says, where's Cassian and Obi-Wan? Well, those are supposed to start filming very soon. But that Boba Fett will probably come out before either of those two shows. Everybody wants Ahsoka. I really want Ahsoka. I needs to have the Ahsoka show. Ahsoka, she's so great. Rosario Dawson just killed it. It was so cool to see her do such a great job. She needs more fight training, but I'm not worried about it at all. Baby Yoda origin story, Brandon? No, I want to age Baby Yoda up. I do not want to. I love Baby Yoda, but I'm getting close to having enough of him being a baby. Like when he didn't talk, when he was doing the Jedi meditation, although the fact that he could do this was adorable with his little baby hands. But he is a 50-year-old baby. But I was like, start to talk, Baby Yoda or Grogu. Hey, Dent. All right, so let me talk about what I've heard, okay? And my sources on this are impeccable. They're really, really strong. All right, so as I tweeted to you a long time ago, they're going to do an adult section in Disney Plus. Right now, other people are trying to get on the bandwagon. They're guessing it. They're saying they're hearing similar things. Now that's the no. So I told you this on August 18th, and you might be like, Grace, why do you bring up? Does it matter who's first? Why do you bring up that you say these? You have these stories in here. Well, that's because people try to undermine my reporting because they're haters and they're jerks. But I'm just trying to point out, because people are more than willing to point out the times, like, my track record is as good as anybody's. But, occasionally some things haven't come to fruition, because of behind the scenes reasons, or they have not been proven or disproven yet. I play the long game. I'm proud of it. It's just the way it is. But so I have to remind people when I get something right. I have to do it. I'm sorry, but I have to do it. And I appreciate that some of you remind me and also do that for me. So that's really, really nice of you. That's right, Cinema Gorilla. I got to have the receipts. So anyway, I heard that they're definitely adding an adult section to Disney Plus. I heard that it will have a PIN code number. Now, I heard some people say, like, why do I have to enter a stupid PIN code number? Well, I think that they don't want to get in trouble. They don't want to get in trouble that someone says, I have Disney Plus and I give it to my child to use unsupervised, and they went in and they watched Alien, right? And you'd be like, I don't know. I think a lot of people watched Alien as a kid and they're fine. But anyway, like for instance, I feel that Deadpool has a lot of sexual humor in it, and I don't really feel like I think that should be something that I think is age-gated. But that's a whole different conversation. Hey, NZB2B, where you feel something should be, what you think should make people watch stuff. But anyway, I think the PIN code is just a way to have a security system and to make sure that it can all stay on the same service. Now, will they bring Hulu in? Will Hulu become a vertical on Disney Plus? Will Star become a vertical on Disney Plus? I think that would be really bad for their branding. I think it would be horrible to have that in there. I think it would just make it seem like trash, to be honest with you. Now, maybe on a Thursday, I'll be saying, hey, that looks like trash, okay? But I think we'll have a 20th Century section, if I had to guess, and an ABC section for the ABC network. I think they'll add those two sections, 20th Century and ABC. Noah says, will the PIN code be optional? I think they might have, I don't know. I only heard that there would be a PIN code. Hey, Arun Roy. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I could guess on that, but I mean, I'm only telling you what I heard from my sources. So, Jack, Alien is very sexual, but I think, it's like James Bond. Kids can watch James Bond and it totally goes over their head. I mean, I remember watching James Bond as an adult being like, I can't believe I was allowed to watch this as a child. But it never occurred to me for a second there was any innuendo in it when I was little. All right, so anyway, I know for sure that they're going to be adding an adult section. All right? So we'll see how they handle the branding. They'll see what's on there. As some of you pointed out, maybe the Kingsman will be on there. There has been, I think it was Variety, but one of the trades reported that there was chatter that Kingsman would go to the streaming service because it's just been delayed for so long. Also, Jamie, everyone's talking about Jamie, which is an LGBT musical. That could also go to streaming. I don't know about Free Guy, Mika. I haven't heard anything about Free Guy. I haven't heard anything personally. I haven't seen anything in the trades. It's a big, fancy Ryan Reynolds movie. I don't know if Disney's willing to make that sacrifice just yet. So, okay. So that's one of the things that I've heard directly from my sources, and impeccable source on this. An adult section on Disney Plus. You can see the wording of my tweet on it. I said, it's a scoop. It's coming. All right. I said it very clearly. Then the other thing that I know about for sure is that they're going to get some Disney animation original shows on there that I've also been tweeting about. So I started telling you about that on September 28th. We always talk about how these movies are doing so well and how they're consistently in the top of trending. Well, Disney Animation, as we would have assumed, has noticed that. And so I've been putting out there what I've been hearing. The source on that is also impeccable. So expect Disney Animation to make some big announcements as well. So I'll be covering all of that. I think it's very, very exciting. I hope Disney Animation can stand out from the crowd. That's the thing. I do feel that when Bob Iger made all these purchases, a lot of people felt that Disney would lose its own identity in the mix. Like, how can Disney compete with, No, I don't know. I don't think there would be a Touchstone section, Mika, because I think that would be under maybe 20th Century. We'll see what they decide to call it. I think the 20th Century branding is really good. I wouldn't necessarily get rid of that. But anyway, hey, Riley Jackson, Vincent, that's great use of emojis. But I think that, Disney proper needs to stay in the mix. It needs to keep making a splash. Frozen's done a lot of that for them. But how do they continue to do it? When Marvel, Lucasfilm, and Pixar are making these huge announcements on Thursday, what's Disney going to do? And so I think that that's going to be a big thing for them, these animation announcements that I've been tweeting about, and I tweeted about it, in fact, with some more information today. So that's what I've heard. So what you've personally heard from me are the adult section on Disney Plus, which I told you back in August, and the Disney animation news, which I told you back about in September. All right, so, and I will be posting the receipts if indeed those Disney is ready to make those announcements. Cray Cray Bro Bro. Hey, Scott Smith, thanks for joining. I love your name, Cray Cray Bro Bro. I do not think you'll see any Spider-Man announcements unless it's a streaming announcement. There's been some chatter. I have not heard this, but I'm seeing other people mention it, that there's talk about if they can stream some of the Spider-Man movies on Disney Plus so they can complete their MCU set. That's the only thing I can see happening, because remember, Spider-Man is technically it's technically a Sony movie, but again, I don't know how rattled they are by the HBO Max Warner Brothers announcement, right? They could say, screw it, Amy Pascal, can we announce the Tobey Maguire thing and get everybody, that would certainly make everybody talk about it, right? So maybe they would, because if they're going to announce theatrical, as Deadline said today, maybe they would make that announcement. Maybe Kevin Feige would make that announcement. And I'm sure that Sony would be like, hey, if you want to promote our movie for us, that's fine. Thank you. So maybe they would do that. Maybe I can see that happening, because they really are going to want to just punch HBO Max in the face, quite frankly. They're like, I'm sure they're so upset about what happened on Thursday. I'm sure they're very, very upset. All right, so that's my preview of the Disney Investor Day on Thursday. Again, it's this Thursday at 4:30 p.m. That's right, Evan. Zendaya was asked about it by Jimmy Kimmel, and Zendaya would neither confirm or deny that Tobey Maguire was on set, about 3 Spider-Men. And I think if it wasn't happening, Zendaya would have said it's not happening, because why would you make people disappointed? I told you, I'm very confident about the Tobey Maguire thing, and I plan to toot my own horn like crazy when it happens, because so many people question me on it. All right. And then, oh yes, Brett, thank you for reminding me. Zendaya is a wonderful person. I just really like Zendaya a lot. Finally, I want to add that I think the price might go up. Now, I don't know if they're going to announce that on Thursday, because that would be like a real way to deflate the excitement, being like, oh, are you excited? Give us more money. I don't know. If the announcements are good enough, maybe people will be like, you can have it. So, we'll have to see what the announcement looks like. But right now, Disney Plus was priced to sell. I remember when it came out, I got it. Someone was very nice and got me the Disney special offer. And it was like, what was it? Like $4 a month, like for 3 years. And I was like, yes. So a lot of people signed up for Disney Plus for like a really long time. So I have a 3-year deal. And by the way, it's spread out across 3 households. So it's like free, basically. Now, they can't continue with that. That's like it's crazy, especially if HBO Max is like, we're $14 a month, but bam, look at everything that you get. Everyone's, you saw the stories today about the HBO Max numbers going through the roof on downloads. I don't know how many people are actually, and of course they got rid of the free trial at HBO Max. Shocker. Of course they got rid of the free trial. But I just think it's really, really interesting. So I think they will raise the price. I think that some of you are saying $10. That's probably a good place. $9.99. So it still keeps it under the double digits. So I think it's exciting. I talked about this in Movie Math, so it feels to me like it was earlier today, but you're going to see it later. The name of the game is getting people to stay subscribed. So you're going to be, like, a lot of you ride subscriptions, I'm sure. I know some of you ride the membership to this channel, which I totally understand. So I feel like people are going to be like, I can't, as we've discussed before, you only have X numbers of dollars in your entertainment budget. And like what, $14 is already going to Netflix, another 14 is now going to HBO Max. So that basically puts you at what, $30 almost? Then you got to add Disney Plus, and then you got to decide if you have any other, hey Darkman, if you have any other streaming services. I mean, it's just really, really expensive. You might want to go in there and get Disney Plus now, by the way, now that I just thought of it. Maybe you might want to go get Disney Plus now before they raise the price. Maybe you might want to sign up for a year. I mean, look, you could gamble that maybe they're going to offer like a cheaper deal to try and get you to sign up after Thursday. But, that's on you if it goes up instead. I think it's more likely going to go up. But I think it's pretty funny. All right, so let's get to the question and answer. Q&A, you can ask me anything that you'd like. I said 15 minutes. It's 4:33, so that means we'll go till 4. We'll just go till 4:50. You get 17 minutes. 4:50. Let's see here. Lloyd, Hulu. Oh yeah, isn't Hulu on sale for $1.99 right now? That's pretty good. That's right, Jack. They have the Percy Jacks. Disney has so many shows in development. Like any of them might be announced. Percy Jackson would be a Disney proper show. So maybe they'll be like, yes, this is another way for us to get some stuff in there to compete with the other divisions. Dancing Dog 60 says, Grace is Disney plus Macy's and HBO Max Gimbals. That's hilarious. I like that. I think that's actually probably true. Somebody just joined. Hey, Ryan Bernstein, welcome to the party. Dent says Kathleen Kennedy's contract expiring. 2021 is around the corner. Her contract is expiring. Let's see who they get to take over. Everybody at this point thinks it's going to be Jon Favreau. And I'm sure the question is whether or not he wants the job. He's a filmmaker. I don't know if he wants to be a full-time production executive. That's a big question that he's going to have to decide. If I were Bob Chapek, although Bob Chapek is so cheap, I'd be like, what's it going to take, Jon Favreau? What's it going to take? Money-wise. Money-wise. I'm talking money-wise. Although if he wants something else, I'd be open to his suggestions. Chico says, is it possible for Disney to make a Disney princess show? At some point, I think so, but I've not heard anything, about it being a team-up princess show. I told you some specific Disney princesses are going to be getting shows, but not a Wreck-It Ralph style show, no. Brandon says, will any other Marvel trailers come out? Never say never, but I think that's a little early. I mean, you could get, I think we'd really just like some release dates, to be honest with you. But I mean, hey, 16 TV, why would you, hey, Leo Gallimara, why would you tease, Falcon and the Winter Soldier when you have so much other stuff that has to come out first? Barbie Maj says, what did you think about Letitia Wright's comments? I don't like to see anybody get picked on, the internet can be a brutal place. It's really, and I think that Twitter is designed for that. It's set up for that kind of, bullying. Because Twitter's like, half of the people wouldn't even be on here if they couldn't do that. But I do think that Letitia Wright shouldn't have said those things. I think that Don Cheadle, I think, put it best in that it was almost impossible to defend the video that she posted, but he wasn't ready to, quote unquote, cancel her, throw her away, I think he said. I think also some of the comments she made about feeling that the name of a protein, which has Lucifer in it, was therefore probably a reference to the Bible and the devil. If somebody was making an evil protein, I guarantee you they would put the name Angel in it to trick everybody. I don't think they would call it evil. They'd be like, let's call it something that nobody would ever guess it. Let's call it something that people would love to take it. So I think it's unfortunate that she shared those tweets. She did delete all of her social media, or at least, deactivate it. So I'm sure someone from Disney or her agent called her and been like, how are you going to go on a publicity tour, Letitia? I like Letitia Wright. I like her in the role. This was a one-time thing. And I hope that, it's a really difficult situation. I have no problem with anybody who's very religious. I think nobody has a problem with anybody who's religious. The only problem comes when people start trying to push that religion on others. Yes, Lamont, yeah, I do mean Luciferus. That's the one that they were discussing. All right, Brett says, is Soul your number one movie of the year so far? It would have to be so far. I haven't seen Tenet yet, and I haven't seen Wonder Woman. It might be. I really liked Soul. I know some of you are disappointed that I haven't been planning to do a watch along for Soul. Not only is it a problem that it comes out opposite Wonder Woman 1984, which, come on, let's just be honest. What movie do you guys want to all watch together as a big party? Wonder Woman 1984. But Soul is such a serious movie. I don't really know if I should be like, hey guys, do you think he's dead or not? What is going on, huh? I mean, I just don't know if it's that type of movie. It would be like doing a Schindler's List watch along. You know, I don't really think it's appropriate. All right. Evan says, do you think they'll announce X-Men or Fantastic Four? I haven't heard anything. Never say never, but I think it's too early for that. I think they have a lot of other things to do first. Let's see here. Somebody was asking me a question about price. The Chris Channel says, in your opinion, how bad will it look for Disney if they don't release Black Widow to Disney Plus for free, since Wonder Woman 1984 is going to HBO Max at no additional cost? I think that them releasing Black Widow for free is almost impossible. Bob Chapek said that they were going to do a premium, another premium Premier Access title. And Disney Plus, again, is incredibly cheap. I think they're like, you save a ton of money on our streaming service. So, you can pay the extra money. I think that it will, if they release Black Widow, I think it'll be a Premier Access film. And they're going to be like, don't watch it then. I mean, it's going to be available globally. And I think that also maybe Disney could say they're going to cut movie theaters in on some of that money. And then they can be like, ha-ha, because movie theaters are so upset with Warner Brothers. Darkman, I haven't seen Wonder Woman 1984 yet. I am talking to Warner Brothers about it. We've been emailing. They're doing it in phases. Let's see here. Sean G says, do you think Disney would consider a second subscription model for Disney Plus that includes Premier Access? Oh, Sean. Hey, Sean, you got a future as a marketing executive or a business executive. I think that's not a bad idea. $10 to $15 a month that includes Premier Access. Maybe. I like that idea. I like it a lot. If I were Disney, if I were Bob Chapek, I'd consider that. I'd be like, it's a price raise, but maybe not for everybody. It's up to you. Zakaria says, did you read DC Endless Winter? I tried to. It was god-awful. It was so bad. Sometimes I read comic books and they're just so great, and I'm like, this is why I love comic books. And then I read other comic books, and I'm like, I can't believe that anybody pressed publish on this. I mean, it's just so horrible and makes no sense. I mean, at least with like Tom King's like kinky Batman Catwoman fan fiction, it's coherent, and you're like, hey, maybe other people want to read Batman Catwoman erotic fan fiction. But I mean, the Endless Winter, did anyone else read it? I thought it was just horrible. Brandon Hamill says, will Venom go to Disney Plus? I don't know. See how it can. It's a Sony movie. And it's not a part of the MCU, basically, unless Amy Pascal can trick Kevin Feige into agreeing to it. So I don't think so. David said, did you read X of Swords? I tried to, and it got kind of interesting towards the end, which made me regret that I hadn't read it. But X of Swords had so many tie-ins and so many comics, and it was just such a huge, enormous event that it was difficult to follow. And it was hard to figure out what comics to buy. I wish that Comixology, sorry, my heat's going on. I wish that Comixology would have like a page where I could just click on all the, the X of Swords titles and buy them and know what order to read them in. I was like, I don't know what order goes in. So I didn't read it, but hey, bless Creeth. But I thought some of the stuff that came out of it was kind of interesting. I gotta tell you, I'm kind of over what they've done with the X-Men. I think they're all been stripped of personality. I don't think anything really happens in the comics anymore. I'm not a huge fan of it. At first I was like, Jonathan Hickman, you genius. And now I'm like, eh. Brett says, when will you review Tenet? Well, I'm waiting to get my DVD copy. I'm supposed to get it this week. And the embargo to review the DVD I guess because it's got extras and stuff on it, is Thursday. So here are some embargoes. Thursday, 9 a.m., Songbird. 1 p.m., Tenet. And then, so what a day. Oh my God. And then, oh my gosh. YouTube's like, please only release 3 videos a day. And I'm going to be like, to a flock. There will be no stream on Thursday because I'm going to be just going nuts. But there will be streams today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. I'm determined to do those 3 streams. Determined. And if there's a Tenet spoiler review, it'll be next week. Hey, Passive Aggressive. That's a great name. The Tenet spoiler review will come out around when it comes out on PVOD. Brandon says, will Disney buy Warner Brothers on Thursday? No. It's too much money for them. I have some interesting questions about AT&T and Warner Brothers that are in Movie Math today. It's kind of scary, in fact. You'll see it. Someone wrote me a question and they were like, comment, and they were like, Grace, I saw that you didn't make Movie Math. Are you too scared to talk about the HBO Max fallout? And I thought that was funny. I was like, oh no, I'm going to go there. Don't worry. I'm famous for going there. Hi, Spying Mentor 087. Let's see here. Mika, I don't know if we'll do best and worst this year because, I mean, we'll probably do it closer to when the Oscars are because, I mean, there just aren't enough movies. Let's see here. We have 4 more. No, we have 6 minutes to go. You can ask me anything you'd like. Patrick, I'm trying to do a Hawkeye casting video tomorrow. I gotta tell you, I felt bad that I didn't do a Hawkeye video last week. I felt real bad, but that stupid CCXP derailed me. But then I went and I looked and saw how all the other Hawkeye videos were doing, and they were doing so poorly. I was like, wow, there's clearly no interest in Hawkeye. There's interest in the Kate Bishop character, but like, no one cared. Like, no one. So I was like, oh, it's not an emergency. But I'm going to cover it tomorrow unless like some huge thing happens. But I don't think anything's supposed to happen tomorrow. I'm going to try and get on it early, so I will cover Hawkeye tomorrow. I do appreciate all the wonderful photos and updates you guys are sending me. I collect them all, and they'll be in the video. Let's see here. I don't know about a Gargoyles live action, Joshua. You know, Jordan Peele wants to do it. Madeline, CCXP was torture. It really was like water torture. It was so bad. It was just awful. ES says, thoughts on the Wonder Woman 1984 reactions. I'm thrilled that they're so positive. I think that's just wonderful. I think that you have to remember that they do not come from actual critics. They come from, some people are critics, but they come from people who went to the junket. And anyone who is going to be part of a junket and gets invited to the junket is going to be real reluctant to turn around and thank Warner Brothers for inviting them by saying their movie sucked. So that's always a little bit of a factor there. I mean, at the same time, nobody wants to look like an idiot, though. So they're not going to just completely say something is fantastic if it's not. So I think that it's obviously a good movie, okay? I will tell you that the clip that was on MTV was pretty awful. I hope that it was just cut down too much. And, you know, here's my thinking. I thought that the action clip about her running on the road, it's not that it was a bad clip from a creative perspective, but I thought that the action and the stunts and the visual effects were done so poorly, I was surprised that it was a mainstream film. So again, I'm hoping that it's just because it was maybe chopped up really weird. But I will tell you that if you were to get out of a car that's moving, I don't care who you are, you can't just step down and just start running next to the car like a cartoon character, because the ground is not moving and the car is. So as soon as your foot touched the ground, you would fall backwards. So she didn't even tumble out of the car or anything like that. She just literally, I just couldn't believe it. She literally stepped out of the car and started running like a cartoon character. And also, I know that they wanted to do a practical effect where Gal Gadot was running, but it didn't look real. I was surprised that it didn't look real. You know, I think that it was good to try it, but I think that they should have looked at the finished result and said, it doesn't look good. But again, I didn't review this clip because I think it's maybe out of context. Like, for instance, she lassos a bullet in the clip. I don't know how you can lasso a bullet again. Also, another thing that bothered me a little about the clip was how much Wonder Woman was working hard not to be on the offense. And I don't like an apologetic Wonder Woman. They took away her sword. I'm very upset about that. She doesn't have her shield, which I'm pretty upset about. And I just don't understand how you can lasso a bullet. But I'm pretty excited to see the movie. I think it's going to be great. I'm excited to see it. And I don't think it's going to be perfect, but I think it's going to have so much heart that just completely compensates for any other problems. Braden, not only did I not watch the MTV Movie and TV Awards last night, but it was so poorly advertised that I didn't even know it was on. Kevin, Wonder Woman's hair is phenomenal. I love the whole cast. I'm very excited to see this movie. I didn't say Wonder Woman couldn't be fast. She just can't get out of a car that way. Brett, that's a good question about Death on the Nile. They might have a problem that there's so many stars in that movie that they're like, what are we going to do? You know, like, how are we going to pay all these back-end deals for them? So that might be one of the reasons that they're thinking of doing the Kingsman, because who are you going to pay there? I mean, what's Ralph Fiennes' back-end deal, really? So maybe that might be the issue there. We'll see. We have 1 more minute. Aaron, you just made it. Hooray! Logan says, will there be any more Star Wars sequel characters getting movies? You mean like the Disney characters? I do like those characters. I feel bad for them that they just got such a bad shake. I don't know if any of them will ever want to come back, to be honest with you. I think they had such a horrible experience. I think Adam Driver ain't never coming back because he's so successful. He doesn't need to come back. Maybe someday, 40 to 50 years from now, he'll pull a Harrison Ford and they'll figure a way to bring him back. Maybe he might show up to occasionally be a Force ghost and just smile and say hi. I can maybe see that happening. But I think that, let's see what happens to Daisy Ridley's career. Let's see what happens to John Boyega's. Kelly Marie Tran? I don't know. I would like Kelly Marie Tran to just go on and play other characters. I think Rose Tico just isn't a well-developed character. I mean, unless someone does a complete overhaul of her. And then maybe it would be good. But I just don't see it working. It's a shame. I could see maybe John Boyega coming back, though. Kathleen Kennedy had a nice long conversation with him. I could see it maybe happening, especially because he's not getting any other work, really. I mean, he has a Netflix deal. So... All right, it's 4:51. Let me do a couple of shout-outs, everybody. So don't ask me any more questions, but just tell me what you're doing, where you are, if you're eating anything, what you're doing right now, if you're working on some homework or your job or you're going to work. It just gives me a chance to give you some shout-outs. Erwin, I did watch SNL. I thought it was absolutely awful. Adam is in Manchester, UK, ready to go to sleep. Adam Mohammed, sweet dreams. Jeremiah Rivera is drinking hot chocolate and writing in New Jersey. That sounds delightful. Pastor Madeline is about to make some bread in Ohio. I made bread. It looked horrible, but it tasted great. Chad Parker says about to do yoga with Marvel in New York City. For those of you who don't know Chad, didn't he used to be CJ? You threw me there. But his dog actually looks like that emoji. Let's see here. Matt is coming at you from home, playing hooky to hang out with my family in Michigan. Look, there they are in emoji form. Let's see here. Hey, Joel Rolston, thanks for joining. David the Creative is finishing a cake for my boyfriend's birthday before he comes home. Oh, I hope I didn't distract you too much. Congratulations. Oh, that's so sweet of you. Oh, that's so nice. Let's see here. Logan Gassonniere is eating soup in a very cold and, oh no, that's Eric. Sorry, got it. So Eric Samuel Perry is eating soup in a very cold and rainy Kentucky. Well, Logan Gassonniere, I think, is that how you pronounce your name? Is working in the anime industry in Dallas, Texas. Oh, I wonder if you work at the company that did Blood of Zeus. I know they're in that area, kind of. Let's see here. Jico says, hi, Grace. Just finished class today and ready for my therapy session later. Oh, good for you staying mentally healthy. Carlos Munoz is eating a muffin. Delicious. Where'd you get a muffin? Joel says, just finished a 10-hour shift. Gonna eat a good meal and watch a movie. Oh, that's wonderful. Martian Gentian just saw Elf at the movies in London. Oh, that's great. Let's see here. Keith says, just finished my Ahsoka art. Can I send it to you? Of course you can, Keith. Let's see here. Storm says, no, Storm, that's a question. I can't answer your question, Storm King. We're in the call-out section, but I appreciate you trying. Let's see here. Alexandropoulos is in Athens, Greece, waiting to binge watch Ethos on Netflix. I love your name, Alexandros. Let's see here. Storm King, spell check gets me every time. Can't tell you how many times it's embarrassed me. Braden says, I'm sick at home with COVID in beautiful sunny Colorado. Oh, Braden, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm glad you're taking care of yourself. Please get better soon. Brandon, it says, eating chips and watching WandaVision over and over again. You're obviously watching the trailer, I guess. That's pretty funny. Let's see here. Chris Sanchez says, driving around Palm Springs. Lloyd Lester is getting ready to eat dinner in Virginia. Wisco Niner, that's a great name, is in Chicago binge watching A24. Wisco Niner, come in. Let's see here. Okay, hold on. Oludemilade watched Tenet last night and said it's a masterpiece. Oh, I'm so glad. Maybe that'll be my favorite movie of 2020. Henry says it's lunchtime in Honolulu. What a place to be. What a place to live your life. Every day is paradise. Let's see here. Mikey Bray is in Yorkshire, UK, watching from my, let's see, where to go. Watching from my new mobile and done some Christmas shopping. Oh, good for you. I'm almost done with my Christmas shopping. I did it all online this year. Very ahead of schedule because there's nothing to do. Let's see here. Noah Ryans is working on a procrastinated paper in sunny San Antonio. I hear you there. Let's see here. Kay Brickman says, I think you might hate Tenet. That's funny, Kay. I might. I really hated Inception, although I did think it was entertaining at points. Make just finished their Christmas tree in Amsterdam. Oh, that sounds lovely. Waffles is drinking an Waffles ice. What's your real name again? Joshua, right? Waffles is drinking an Arby's shake that's actually better than Starbucks. Waffles was in the Facebook stream yesterday, and I got to see his real name. But I always know him as Waffles. Ryan Bernstein is relaxing in quarantine in Florida. Stay safe. Good for you for being responsible. Vincent 2.0 is getting a new phone soon and is super excited. George Alexander is about to settle into bed and watch Scary Stories on Amazon. Oh, that's a good one. Have fun. Lamatia says, I don't even know if I even like Tenet. That's funny. Maybe I won't know either. Let's see. Jordan says, thank you for another great stream. I absolutely love this community. Jordan Neal, that's so nice of you to say. You guys, I got to say, you're a special group of people. I'm very fortunate to have such wonderful people that I get to talk to all the time. Daniel Montalvo says, about to take my final, and then screams out loud. Let's see here. Thanks, Dent. All right, Keith, I'll go take a look at your art in just a moment. All right, I better get going. I got to get on Movie Math so it gets up today. Everybody, thank you for joining me. I will see you tomorrow.